Hi guys, how are you doing? I hope you're doing great. Again, despite this downtrend. Today, of course, we'll look at the price of Bitcoin, and in the end of the video, I would like to share with you some information about the price analysis in the long term based on the Elliot's wave theory. And there's a good news and bad news there. Okay, so first of all, what we are having right now here. Well, as you can see, here we had some kind of a rally, well, a bit of a relief rise, but then, yes, another drop, and we reached almost like $7,000, then a little bit of a pullback, and now we're going down again, almost the same levels, 7,050, well, very narrow range. I would say that triangle which I drew a few days ago, and now it might become a kind of a wedge, is still continuing, but it's very close to the bottom part of that, and the probability of this to being broken downwards is very high. So I would say that unless we will make some decent reversal, maybe some huge move to the upside, it's very likely that we will go to the new low, maybe lower than previous $6,500. And of course, there are few levels on the way. First of all, this resistance line, which was resistance, now it is support, maybe something like $6,700, $6,600. And then also there is a global trend line right here. If you look at the previous low in beginning of this year, then this touch at $6,500, and now we're approaching this trend line. Maybe it's something like $6,700, $6,800, and yeah, it might be the stop before the moving even lower if we will go there. But again, it might hold and we may have another pullback. But again, you can see that now we are well below 61.8% by Fibonacci, and well, the next one is 78.6. So very dangerous situation. It's at $5,400. Also, the volume is going lower and lower, and despite we broke below the level of $7,080, which I pointed out several videos ago over here. So we went below this level, kind of acquired the liquidity at this area, but it was very small volume actually. So apparently we will try to push even lower to reach the stop orders which are hidden even lower than that. But the main point right now is the trend. So if you look at the Bollinger Bands, and especially the baseline of the Bollinger Bands on a 4 hours time frame, here, although we broke it to the upside, we couldn't hold here, and we broke it back below this baseline, and then we tested it once again and had a rejection, and now we are continuing going lower, constantly facing the resistance at this trend line, and we are not able to break it. And even more important, on a daily time frame, you can see that right now the Bollinger Bands width is very narrow. So let me actually add the Bollinger Bands width here. You can see that it is very low right now on a daily time frame. Every time when we are reaching this kind of a low area on the Bollinger Bands width, so for example over here, and before as well, you can find the situation when the breakdown is happening very soon after that. And usually, again, if the trend is rising, then the price often is above the baseline. In that case, when the width is narrow, the next move usually is to the upside. Here we went below, but then while we are being in this kind of a narrow range, price went above, and then again next move was bullish. And on the other hand, when the trend is bearish, like here, the price is below the baseline, and yeah, the next move was enormously huge to the downside. Here as well, well, actually after that we went up, but still first move at this situation, at this narrow Bollinger Bands width position, was to the downside. So again, we are over here lower than the baseline. The Bollinger Bands width is very narrow, and yeah, we need to go something above $7,350 in order to make a situation when we can actually exit this narrow range to the upside. In fact, we have the gap on the CME futures, not that huge, so it closed before the weekend at the level of 7,240, and here is the gap. And well, statistically, people believe that gaps should be closed. I personally don't believe in this theory, but yeah, well, it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if we'll go higher in order to close this gap, then $7,250, $7,300 might bring us above the daily baseline, and then we could actually have a chance to go to the upside. But personally, I don't have much hope on that. We have lower highs, we have lower lows. I don't see much of the hope right now. But anyway, let's look how this situation will be within like few days. Probably it will not last that long. Usually these periods of the narrow Bollinger Bands are short-lived. But now let's look at the long-term Elliott waves analysis from Credible Crypto. Well, people have different opinion on the Elliott wave theory. Some people say that it's the best possible analysis. Some people say that it's actually absolutely useless. But in any case, this guy is making reasonable calls, in my opinion, and sees the market in a reasonable way. So what does he actually say here? Well, in fact, he has the whole 40 minutes video about this chart, but I will just tell you briefly what he wanted to say. The idea is that he is looking at the whole history of the price action of Bitcoin, and he believes that we are in the 1, 2, 3, 4th wave of the 1-5 wave count by Elliott wave theory, and actually it should be over somewhere in between $3,000 and the current level of the price, and then after that we would have another move to the upside, maybe to the level of, like, let's say $100,000 or something. It's, of course, those numbers are arbitrary, but still above the previous high of $20,000. And he actually says that there might be a different count, or well, actually different counts, but he believes that his version is the most reasonable one, and he explains why. Let's say like if you will look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then this third doesn't make sense because of the number of the wave inside the third part, well, and some other criteria. But the point is, he makes an argument that this is the most reasonable, the most possible scenario. He also refers to the RSI positions, like the bottoms over here, and he said that after the reaching of wave 5, we'll probably see really massive, huge bear market. And he also compares it with, like, kind of from the fundamental point of view, with the dot-com bubble, with internet and number of users, awareness, and so on and so forth, adoption. Basically, he says that we might drop after this reaching new all-time high really, really low, like 90, below 90, 95%, and then it will be a long, devastating bear market. And only after that, we again might reach another all-time high, but it will take very, very long time. So his point is, anyway, that we are going lower, probably, still, but at every second we might actually reverse to the upside and go to the new high. And in fact, a very important thing which he says is that even if he's wrong about this count, then basically whichever count you would use, then the situation is as follows. You couldn't drop below $3,000 until you will break $14,000 before that. So the idea is that the price might go lower, but it will not reach this $3,000 level and before it will actually make a new higher high. If it will make it, and actually then this scenario is wrong, but if it will make it and then it will drop, then yes, it's possible. But in any case, above $14,000 is the first move. And if he's right, then not only that, but we actually will go above $20,000 at least. So that is why it is actually kind of a good news, because yes, we probably will have a new all-time high, quite huge all-time high, but the bad news is that after that we will have a massive, massive bear market for a very long period of time. And not to mention that we actually can continue falling, but at least not below $3,000 according to a Credible Crypto idea. Well, guys, I don't know what's the probability of all that to happen, and yeah, you see there are different scenarios, but I hope that my updates will bring you some value in terms of making your trading decisions and investment decisions. So that is it for today. See you in the next video. Goodbye.